community station with international inspiration, kinetichifi.com. And as promised, she is here, your girl, Nigel Madison. Nigel, are you here?
Yes, ma'am, I am here.
Awesome. I'm doing good. How are you doing today? Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you here today. Thank you for doing the interview with me today and just coming to share your testimony. And for those of you who may not have been here before, this month is Lupus Awareness Month. And last week was World Lupus Day on May the 10th. And I had my mom come in because she was diagnosed with lupus back in 1980. And she's watched, I mean, when she got diagnosed, they told her she wasn't going to live past 30 years old. And she's getting ready to turn 58 years old. So it's such a blessing. And today I have Nigel on to share a little bit with us, to share with us a little bit about her journey with lupus and everything that has come along with that. And before we get started with that, just want to give you a quick overview of what lupus is. Lupus is a systemic autoimmune disease that occurs when your body's immune system attacks your own tissues and organs. Inflammation caused by lupus can affect many different body systems, including your joints, skin, kidneys, blood cells, brain, heart, and lungs. Lupus can be difficult to diagnose because its signs and symptoms are often mimic those of other ailments. Those most distinctive signs of lupus, though, is the facial rash that resembles the wings of a butterfly unfolding across both cheeks that occur in many but not all cases. Some people are born with a tendency towards developing lupus, which may be triggered by infection, certain drugs, sunlight, and even childbearing. While there's no cure for lupus, treatments can help control symptoms. So thank you again, Nigel, for being here. And if you could do me a favor, I hear a little echo in the back. Are you able to turn down any music or anything you might have on? Great, great. Okay, Nigel, well, tell us, when were you first diagnosed with lupus?
I was diagnosed with lupus January of 2010. I was actually 25 years old. It was something that just randomly happened.
Really? So it was random. So it wasn't like, because my next question was, were you having any symptoms? So you weren't having any symptoms. Was it just like a normal checkup at the doctor?
I was having some of the symptoms that I was having bad chronic headache. I was losing my appetite, and I noticed that I was very tired. And I was losing a lot of energy, and because of that, that caused me to go to my physician to get a checkup to see if anything was going on. Because I was telling my mother, and shout out to my mother, one of my number one supporters, was telling her that I wasn't feeling well and something just wasn't right. And she was like, well, I just need to go to the doctor that you can get a checkup. So it started there because I'm always like that, no, I'm full of life, I'm full of energy. And so that's what really caused me to go to the doctor.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. And when you got there, how did you respond when they gave you, the diagnosis and told you that, this is what you have?
Well, for me, actually, I was misdiagnosed. So
Okay.
when I went to my local physician and I was explaining to her the different symptoms that I was having, she was asking me various questions. She was like, well, does anyone in your family have arthritis? And I was like, yeah. Several of the older ones have osteoarthritis. She was asking me also whether any young people in my family had arthritis. I told her no. And she was asking me if I noticed any type of pain in my fingers and my hands and my wrists. And I said, said no. And so she examined my hand, and like I noticed where you have some twisting going on in the joints. And so she did a blood test, and it came back positive for arthritis. But after that, I got extremely sick, and it caused me to really second guess the diagnosis because I'm like, my symptoms got worse over a long period of time, month and a half, two. I noticed I was breaking out in red rashes and lumps. I noticed that I would black out. I think that particular time I was in college, I was in my junior year of my program, and I noticed as I was driving to college in Georgetown, South Carolina, I was just black out. And I'm like, okay, something isn't right. There has to be something else. So I went back to her and I was asking her, I said, well, can I see a specialist? You said that it was rheumatoid arthritis. I need to see a specialist, a rheumatologist. So that's when she recommended me to a doctor by the name of Dr. Bonner in the clinic there. And at the time, he was booked up. And that was the same question my mother was saying because she was dealing with carpal tunnel. And he called and he asked if I could get her quick because I was sick. I was breaking out in the lungs, red rashes. I was feeling a lot of nitty gritty through my fingers. I was noticing blood spots between my cuticles and my nails, and it got to the point that I couldn't even walk. I was bedridden, and so my mother made that sacrifice.
Yes, thank God for your mom and doing that. It's amazing that you said that because it's like your body was responding, your body was showing you, hey, and a lot of the symptoms they're talking about, you know, having the rashes, the lesions, the pain, the fever, the fatigue. It's talking about shortness of breath and the dry eyes, the headaches, confusion, and memory loss. You talked about blacking out. And I can tell you as a child growing up, I remember going through that with my mother. I remember my mom not being able to get out the bed, like for anything. Like she's just in the bed and just being weak. And she got to a point when I was 11 and she couldn't do my hair anymore because of the joints and the arthritic effects that lupus had on her joints. So I have lived this with, you know, as a child watching. So I know a lot of, I guess I'm familiar with a lot of what you're saying. Wow. And I thank you for sharing because I know there are some people that are listening that may have been experiencing some of those things and, you know, going to the doctors, getting to, you know, prescribed migraine, diagnosed with migraines or something else. Like you said, you were initially misdiagnosed. And it talks about that happens a lot with lupus because it's a very tricky disease. And I thank God that Jesus is a healer. And I know he's doing that in you. And so the next thing I want to ask you, with that being said, how has this affected your life overall in any way, positively, negatively? How has this diagnosis and living with lupus affected your life since you were diagnosed back in 2010?
It changed my life. I went from being able to do things I love doing, such as rollerblading, playing basketball, playing football, being able to run, to not being able to doing that at all. Um, During that particular time, I got very depressed. I was having suicidal thoughts. The enemy, the devil came to me and he told me that I needed to kill myself because I wasn't going to live this out. And this was the beginning of what I was going through. So I was very depressed because I was no longer active and I was so dependent upon those loved ones close to me, such as my mom and my father and my grandmother, especially with just the basic things such as opening up a soda can, opening up a water bottle, being able to brush my teeth, being able to dress myself. way, and I just really didn't know what to expect. And so it caused me to really just shut down. And I thank God for my mother. I thank God for close friends who were there to encourage me and motivate me of the fact that now your life ain't no, you may have to readjust your things and readapt, but you still can live your life and make you can live it the way that God has purposed you to live it. So oftentimes people dealing with lupus, they deal with a lot of depression. They deal with a lot of psychological, thoughts and they deal with suicide because it's so random. You never know how you're going to feel. You're up or down, and that can happen and it can be like that in a matter of seconds. Yeah. You can be feeling good, and all of a sudden you can be feeling bad. You never know what to expect. And so it got to a point where I had to really trust God. And at that time, I was a believer, but I cannot say that my faith increased even more because I knew that God took every day to get up and to do the things that I desired to do, that I wasn't even going to do it. So you got to have a positive attitude and mindset to deal with this condition, this temporary condition, because that's what I was doing, temporary condition.
Yes, that's so good, Nigel. That is so good because like I said, I can attest to that. And I've had the opportunity to meet other people who have lupus and diseases, other autoimmune diseases, but especially lupus. And people think that they're being dramatic. People think I played a clip from Tashina's Arnold's sister, Pam from Martin, and her sister, all her life, they just thought she was dramatic and she was just extra. But she was dealing with those symptoms of lupus her whole life, and nobody knew what was wrong. And it was the same thing with my mom. And she talked about being down and being depressed and people not understanding. And it feels bad when, like, if you're calling into work and you can't work and people think that you're just, wanting to be lazy. I wish I could get out of bed. I wish that my joints weren't aching so bad. So I thank you for pointing that out because I feel like, especially in the church, some people don't feel freedom in sharing when they're struggling because people often come back, well, God is a healer and he's with you, and he is, but that's not stopping this pain right now. And I thank you for highlighting that. And with that being said, what is some advice that you would give someone that has maybe been recently diagnosed or even they've been diagnosed, but they've lost hope. They just think, I can never get better. This is just going to get worse. What would you say? Or even someone who may be experiencing some weird symptoms. And, what would you tell others about your experience and just, in closing, what would you like for us to know about lupus?
Found out, what they have. It's important that a positive mindset and educate yourself concerning your temporary condition. Because when I found out, I started researching, like, what to do. Like, and not only that, but join support groups.
Good.
On Facebook, social media, especially Facebook, they got a lot of support that you can join with other individuals that's dealing with what you're dealing with. And it's nothing like being surrounded by people who can relate to what you're going through. Because oftentimes, whenever you try to open up, people just don't know what to say. And it discourages you. So on Facebook, there's a lot of groups such as the Lupus Warriors, SLB support group, autoimmune support group, Lupus Rebels, Lupus Awareness support group, global support group. You have all these out there that there for people such as myself to be able to come and just undress, to come and just express themselves in whatever way. Not only that, but message boards, they're good to connect with. In case you're wondering if a particular medicine is good or the effect, that medicine they have had on other people who have already taken it, they can get good advice with that. And then you got local support groups in different, cities. And you can Google those where you can actually meet and meet face to face with other individuals that going through what they're going through.
Wonderful.
So I think that's very important, educating yourself and just staying connected with positive people and keeping a positive mindset and especially, being connected with people that love you. I'm about to start this myself. This is my first time going public with what I've been battling the past 7 years. And
bless you.
I'm coming up to the 7th year because 7 is the number
of completion.
And I'm going through a process now where I'm really going through my meditation, with the help of God. Like I was in 40 milligrams when I first got diagnosed, and I'm now down to 7 milligrams. And I just thank God for that.
Yes, that's a big deal. Yes, because I remember when my mom used to take prednisone, and yes, it is a big deal. Yes. Yes.
And you can't even be on it that long because over time it'll cause different things to take place within your body, such as breaking down your bone marrow. It causes your bones to weaken, your muscles to weaken. And so it's all about
and raising knowledge.
Right. Those who feel like they have no one that they can reach out to because there are people out there that can reach out to. And I'm one of them. And that's why I want to share my story. And I'm going to be starting a podcast.
Awesome.
Whereas I read others who are, battling, I want to be able to give more detailed advice as far as dealing with the condition on a day-to-day basis. Because there's many forms of lupus, not just one.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was excited to thank you for the opportunity.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Thank you for being here. And I just want to let you know we're honored that you would make this your first time revealing this with the world right here on Heart Connections with us. And just a little quick note for you. This is my first phone interview. So we have a lot of firsts going on today. So this is good. This is really good. Do me a favor. Tell everybody how they can connect with you so that they can know about your group and your podcast and all of the other amazing things you have going on.
As well as I online there.
Instagram, for those who don't know what IG is. Instagram, Divine Life 30. Okay, gotcha.
If you have loved ones, friends, or even if you're dealing with, lupus, or you may think it's lupus, please reach out because it's important that if you notice that certain symptoms like the fatigue, the loss of energy, headaches, you notice it where you're depressed, you notice it where you're sensitive to the sun. It's important that you see a doctor to see what's exactly going on because the sooner the better.
Yes, the sooner the better. And that is what my mom was told is the reason why she's still living, because they diagnosed her at 19, almost 20 years old. She was so young. And they feel like that if she had gone through life, had a baby, without that, it could have taken her out. So I thank you so much for that, Nigel. And you guys, I'm going to make sure I have tagged Nigel, and I'll make sure to tag her again on the page so that you guys can see where she is and put her information. But I've tagged her on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll do it again after the interview is over. But Nigel, I thank you so much for being here and taking this time to do Heart Talk with us on such a wonderful, pressing topic, lupus. We need to talk about it because it's affecting a lot of us, and people need to know that they have help. So I thank you, my dear. God bless you. You have a wonderful day, and give me a song I can play for you and we can send out to everybody from you. What's a song we can send out to everybody from you today?
Know that with God, anything, nothing possible. I don't care what the diagnosis is, because God is a healer. God is giving me a my healing process, and I'm just excited about it because the Lord showed me the end from the beginning that I was healed. That's what I choose to believe. Choose to believe that you're healed. Choose to believe that you still can live life abundantly and purpose.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Nigel. God bless you and bless all of y'all. We'll go ahead and get going. I'll find you with Lecrae featuring Tori Kelly right here. Kai Hi Fi. Thanks, Nigel.